All right, so Joe's trying something new, of which I don't understand. He's going to explain it to me and to you.
So we've had some trouble with mainly these little spikes up here. We've yet to get a cast where there's material that's all the way up in the tips of these. So what we're going to do is do a two-part molds, two halves of the mold that come together, and you pour the resin in afterwards. So what I did is I suspended this guy on this clay, and I poured resin on one half, and now...
Oh, I see. So you used this as a base,
Yep,
and
just
had
to hold
half
it.
of the Gamera standing up, which is then what you poured this on that half.
Yep, so it was just
Okay.
like this when it was in there.
Uh-huh.
I just pulled it apart, and now I'm going to clear off some of this clay that got stuck to him, because what we're going to do now is pour resin on top of this.
Ah, for the second half of the mold.
Pour the resin in, it'll fill all this up, but it'll go out these little spikes and come up here.
Yeah.
And once it comes back up here, we'll know it's gone all
it's
the way
full.
through.
And now that's going to hopefully prevent the air bubbles from forming in those spikes. All right, what are you spraying on there?
This is the mold release. This is the stuff that we didn't put in
Oh, that's why it
before
fused.
and why they fused together.
Yes, this is a two-part mold. It needs not to get stuck together. All right, so now you got this second half of the mold.
Okay, here we go.
So again, pouring it off to the side, that way the...
We let it rise up around the figure rather than pouring it down on the top of the middle of the figure, because it could trap air bubbles underneath it as it flows down around it. This way it builds up. But I mean, you can see how cloudy this is, how many bubbles this has in it. This is mainly the reusability of this, like Ben and I have talked about, is mainly beneficial for us right now to get practice at doing this.
Yeah, because the little tiny bubbles that can... Just in the... What the heck is this stuff called?
So this is the mold. This stuff's called composite mold.
Composite mold.
And it's instead of using...
Oh my god,
silicone.
you don't have enough!
I got a second.
Oh, is it going to be enough? Is it enough? Is it going to be able to cover his little toes? Oh, just barely. Just barely.
All right, here we are 40 days later. This is dried. It's cooled off, so it's solid now. Let's see what our two-part mold looks like. Ugh. Now, the only other time we've done a two-part like this was when we fused the silicone pieces together. And we're really hoping that we used enough mold release to keep that from happening again. Let's see.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. How's it looking? Oh man.
It's coming apart. That's a good
boy.
sign. You see it like slowly separating. I'm trying to be real gentle with it.
So none of that seems to have gotten fused together.
No, it looks pretty good. Yeah. That did it. See these four indentations and how there's these little guys here? That's how it'll key in.
Oh, that's because you'd already made this one with those little things in it.
Yeah.
And so that way, that proves that it didn't fuse at all.
Yep.
Because those things...
And so now I'm going to pull this piece of clay out. So that'll be the fill port. And this here is...
So you can get those spikes.
So we can get those spikes. You can see the spikes are all the way up against that.
So there's hopefully just enough room.
And it looks pretty good as far as bubbling and stuff like that on the surface. I don't see any issues. Now let's get this guy out of this half. There he is.
So, two halves of a Gamera. Hopefully this will be our masterpiece.